Hi, today I'm going to do my soap note on cardiovascular, and I saw FG in the clinic, and his date of birth is 01/01/1973. He's a 52-year-old Hispanic male who identifies as a male, and his complaint was, my dentist told me to come in because my blood pressure is too high. So this 52-year-old man comes in. He's requesting blood pressure medication renewal because his blood pressure was very high when he went to see the dentist. And he reports that this dentist wouldn't start his dental work until his blood pressure was under control. He reports that he hadn't been taking his blood pressure medications for over a year because he ran out of them, and he couldn't get them renewed because he was moving all over. So he wasn't able to come into the office to see us again to get him renewed. But he would like to get him started, and so he can get his teeth straightened. He denied of any complaints of headache or dizziness or anything abnormal. The medications that he takes for essential hypertension, and he had a DVT in his lower right leg. And he also is a type 2 diabetic, and he takes medications for that. So he had a significant history. His family history was his mother died at 65 of breast cancer and diabetes, and his father died at 68 of type 2 diabetes and also pancreatic cancer. And his brother recently died of a stroke, and he also had type 2 diabetes and hypertension. And his social history is that he's heterosexual. He's never married. He's not in a relationship presently, but he works in agricultural, and that's why he was traveling about last year, he says. But now he's in an apartment and nearby. He also states that he was a past cigarette smoker for about 15 years, a pack a day, but he's quit for the last 5 years. And he denies any kind of illicit drug use, but he does drink Red Bulls once a day, he said, and he drinks alcohol about 5 out of 7 days a week, and he binges about 10 days out of the year. But he basically, after review of systems, there wasn't anything remarkable on that. He doesn't have dental caries or anything like that. I checked there. He just said he wanted his teeth straightened. So. But on the PE, the physical exam, he had a blood pressure of 210/96. It was pretty significant. And then a BMI of 30.7. He also had an A1C of 10.7. So that's pretty significant as well. The physical exam also was pretty much unremarkable. There wasn't anything that stood out. And so basically what I did for my differential was I put the primary hypertension, which he'd already had in the past, and then I went ahead and added a couple more. The secondary hypertension would be considered because of damage to, say, the kidneys, which can elevate the blood pressure. And so, but the hypertension came first. He had that diagnosed before he had the type 2 diabetes. So maybe yes, maybe no, but that's why I ruled that out. And then drug-induced hypertension is another differential, and that is usually related to illicit drug use like cocaine, amphetamines, and sometimes some other medications, but he doesn't take anything at all right now. And he does have a little caffeine take, but it's not enough to make a difference. And then the white coat syndrome was my last differential diagnosis, and we retook his blood pressure, and it had gone down in the office, so that was good. So I think that white coat syndrome is ruled out. But my primary diagnosis for him is primary hypertension, which he already had, and his blood pressure did get reduced to like 187/94 in the office for the second blood pressure, and then I did it one more time right before he left, and it was down even more, but it was still high blood pressure, so I'm treating it. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to give him a refill of his medications that he had before that showed that he was in control. So along with that, though, I'm going to go ahead and order a lot of laboratory studies because I'm going to have him come back in a week or two and for a physical, and then I can review the lab values with him, and we could recheck the blood pressure. So the laboratory studies that I ordered was a CBC with a differential in platelets, an albumin creatinine ratio with a random urine, an A1C, and then a PT and a PTT and a D-dimer and lipid panel fasting, and a TSH and a free T4. So that should cover everything we need for the physical, and then things that we want to look at since he hasn't been here for a long time. And non-pharmacological stuff was to just talk about this diet and, make sure he's eating a diabetic diet, a healthy diet that's, low in sodium too, and, incorporates a wide range of like proteins, meats, meats, fish, beans, nuts, things like that are good for them, and then still stay well hydrated, and decrease the alcohol and sweet or sugary beverages. Also asked him if he could check his blood pressure at home like 3 or 4 times during the week, and bring that log with him when he comes back so we can kind of see where he's at, see if there needs to be any adjustments on his blood pressure medication. I also ordered, based on his uncontrolled type 2 diabetes with his A1C at 10.7, I went ahead and ordered his metformin 500 milligrams twice a day by mouth, and also Ozempic. He was taking that as well, 0.25 milligrams sub-Q every week. And so we talked about if there was... oh, yes. And then the last one, of course, I put him back on a Xarelto for his deep vein thrombosis in his leg. And then we talked a lot about the being diligent with taking the medication, and also to follow up in a week if he can, at the most 2 weeks, so I can recheck everything. And then also just talk to me if there was difficulty getting the medications. If he was having some difficulty, then we could do some, GoodRx or something like that if it was a financial situation, or a program where they can be delivered right to his door if he was having a problem taking off work. So that's the end of my report.